Hey guys, this is Nick coming to you with another Infinity Kingdom video. This is episode 2 of our mini series regarding the top 10 mistakes to avoid and correct in the game. In the first video, we spoke about the marches that you should avoid, the Immortal that you should avoid, and doubling down on bad investment. Make sure you go watch the video if you haven't. We also quickly touch on how to switch away from those mistakes, how to, for example, switch away from water, going to a hybrid team, and doing it in the best and most efficient way. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about mistake 3, 4, and 5. Let's start with 3, which is chasing whales. As a free-to-play low spender, you should not focus on finding one team or one immortal or one skill that will be able to maybe win 1 time out of 10 against well. Why? First, if you're able to win with a free to play immortal against a full chaos red skill team, basically you found a loophole and chances are it's going to be fixed. They're going to nerf it, they're going to find a way to revert back to something that is more conventional where pay to win is going to win. Why? At the end of the day, this is a pay to win game. Somebody that has full chaos red skill team is going to be somebody that is free to play. That's just how it works. A good example is Archer. Archer, before 2 patch ago, so they fixed it not in this patch, 2 patch before, was heavily used or was used to counter high burst teams such as Apollo and Imiko 7. Why? Because it was reflecting big damage that was coming in onto the team and sometimes one-shotting the Chaos team, right? That was happening maybe 1 out of 10. If you were really lucky, maybe 5 times, but it was still happening. But was this a good investment for a free-to-play and low spender to go all in on Archer because they were able to sometime win against a Chaos player? The answer is no. Why? Well, as you can see, they fixed it. Archer is no longer able to work as efficiently against Chaos player, against Apollo and Miko. It's not working anymore. If you had invested a lot of dust into this Immortal, you're now left with a bad investment. As a free-to-play player and low spender, don't waste your time chasing after whales. Don't waste your time trying to find loopholes if you're going to invest heavily into them. If you're a big spender or a medium spender, yes, you can afford it. Sure, go for it. But as a free-to-play player and low spender, what you want to do is maximize your chances against other free-to-play and low spender. So if you go ahead and heavily focus or invest into a one-time immortal that might be working right now, you're most likely going to be left with bad investment down the line. Another good example is Flavius. He was very used against the double healer backline meta, and it was working very efficiently against even 2 Chaos Immortal together, which was Food Faith and Ninetale in the team. But in the long run, the meta swift, and what happens, you're left with an investment that no longer works. Now, the investment for this one is a little bit less heavy because you can't even invest dust into him. But if you were a free-to-play player and you actually paid for the first time to get this Immortal, well, you're probably regretting your investment, right? You pretty much paid for nothing. 2, this is a gem Immortal, so you had to gem the market. So you wasted gem. And 3, which is more importantly, even when it was the meta, even when it was good at that time, Flavius was always something that was going to slowly fall out of the meta. Why? Like we mentioned, you can't even invest dust into him, and there's no spec. So with time, as all main teams, second teams becomes fully dusted, level 7, 8 specialization, Flavius will fall down because he will be so underpowered that even though his skill is really good against double healer, and even if it was still the meta, Flavius as a whole would be so much weaker that it wouldn't be as effective in the long run. But again, they fixed it. The meta's changed. It's no longer double healer, ELOS value as well. Before we move on to the next mistake, let's take a look at an example skill-wise. And this skill is No Escape. No Escape is one of the best skill in the game when it comes to gold skill. It's also a skill that is rather easy to obtain nowadays and is one of the best skills. Now, I sometimes see or hear players telling me I'm not getting No Escape or I'm not using it anymore because I don't want to be countered. What do you mean? Well, this skill here, Fountain of Life, red skill, heavily counter No Escape. But does that mean that as a free to play player or a low spender, you should not avoid No Escape? The answer is no, absolutely not. No Escape still is one of the best game skill in the game. And chances are, if you're battling against a team, a player that is using Fountain of Life, which is a pay to win skill, whether or not he uses it, you're probably going to lose. Why? Because he probably has other skills, has a better setup when it comes to his marches, because he's not a free to play player. And if he has a red skill, most likely not just a very low spender either. So you preventing yourself from getting a very good skill and using a very good skill just because some higher spender might be countering you with Fountain of Life is not helping you. Why? Stop caring about stop caring about players that are just way too strong for you. Focus on what you can do best, which is battling other free to play low spender. And to do that, you need skill. No Escape will help you because it's one of the best skill in the game. So this was mistake number 3. Stop chasing whales. Now let's move on to mistake number 4, which is using the wrong skills on your Immortals. I'll give you one example. It's a very simple example, but the most important thing when it comes to skill is not to copy and paste other player just for the sake of it, or not read the whole thing. You need to read the whole skill, and you need to understand the skill and the description as well. Phantom Agility is one of the best examples. If you look only at the damage increase, you see that it's 20%, stackable 3 times. So that's 60%. For a gold skill, 60% damage increase is actually extremely high. It's very, very good. But in reality, if you read the rest of the skill or the skill at all, you'll see very quickly that this skill is almost useless. Why? Let's read it. So each time you successfully dodge, you need to dodge an attack to have this trigger. So if you don't dodge an attack, your ultimate is not going to get that boost and it's going to become useless, right? It's all about dodging for this skill. Now, given the current meta, which has accuracy so high, are you dodging? That's the main question here, right? Is your team actually dodging? Let's take a look. Let's look at a few examples. This one. All right, 2 descent team. Take a look at 2. 0, 0, 2, 0. 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh, 1. Another example. 0 dodge. Here, by the way. 0 dodge. 0 dodge. 0 dodge. Again, I can look at different. Right? There's almost never any dodge happening whatsoever. So if you're using the skill, which has the possibility of giving you a good 60% damage increase, but you're not dodging, then this skill becomes useless. You're basically using a skill slot on your immortal for nothing. It's a waste. So these are the kind of skill that you need to be careful of. You need to read the whole description. You need to see what actually triggers the skills. And another tip before we move on to the next mistakes, you also need to look at the chance that it happens. If you look at a skill like water protection or any other elemental skill, you see that this can happen every 12 seconds, and every 12 seconds you only have a 55% chance. So this is actually really, really low. The chances that it actually happens is so low that most of the time you're gonna be in a battle of 1 minute, and the skill is just not gonna go off at all. If you look at other skills that are very good in the game, example, energy shield, you'll see that this is a skill that can happen every 6 seconds. So not 12, 6. The time is cut in half. And not only that, the chance is 70%. So 70%, a lot higher than 55. And on top of that, it can happen twice as much because it's 6 seconds instead of 12. And then before we move on, if you look at some of the best skill in the game, example, corrosive power, there's actually no chance. As soon as you hit ultimate 3 times, it's going to trigger. Time to shine, also a decent skill. Again, passive, no chances involved. As soon as you equip this skill, you gain the crit, you gain a damage increase. So when these skills cannot be triggered, like a skill attached to dodging, or the chances are way too low for it to happen, they're probably bad skills. Now let's move on to the last topic we're going to discuss in this video, which is mistake number 5, spreading too thin. A lot of players, because they see that they can put 4 teams in arena, they have 4 marches, they can put 4 team in TOS. Well, I can't put 4 teams at the moment, but you can put 4 teams in TOS. They are going to focus on all 4 marches. And this is a mistake. It's a mistake because of how the game works in Infinity Kingdom. Basically, you need one good team that will carry you in almost all events. Even in Arena, I'll give you one good example. So if you look at Cloud, he's a very strong player here. But he made a mistake at one point to invest in too many marches, too many Immortals at the same time. Take a quick look. You can see Himiko 20 dust, Elizabeth 20 dust, Sion 21, Wu 21, even level 8 spec on his Wu, William 21, Ipo 21, 20, 20. But then when you look at his main team, although his Alex is now max, which is really good, his Charles is only at 21 as well. Khan is only at 34, and Zeno is only at 21. Instead of putting Dust in his fourth, third, and second team right away, he should have heavily focused on putting the Dust on his main team to get them at a decent level, which would be around 40, 50 for carries, 40 for tanks as well, and then again 50 for carries. Because that would allow him to carry in arena with his main team. And teams like this, where you have 20 dust, spec at 4, 5 for this one, 21 dust, spec at 8, but then you have 2 immortals that are at 21 but don't have any spec. becomes very underperforming when it comes to PvP. They don't really give you that much power PvP wise. They are going to help you for sieges against the wall, but that is pretty much it. If you look at my account that I'm currently showcasing, I only have one team, right? Like you see, my main team is at 761. My second team is literally 140k under is 14. But when you look at reports, the reality is, even though we're still winning most of the time, around 70% of the time, there's two things that happens here. First, I'm still able to beat him sometime, which should not be the case if he had invested in one team first and then slowly started on working on a second team. Because what happens is my main team is able to beat his main team. And this is very important for multiple reasons. First, in Arena and TOS, one strong team is most of the time going to outshine four mediocre teams. My three teams here are absolutely useless. It's all about this one team, right? If you look at the reports, they're fully useless. First three teams, useless. Then main team against main team. This is the important part. I win. I'm able to win against his main team almost all the time. Another defeat. But if I look at the main team against main team, I still win. And if you look at the other report, right, is barely wounded. So my main team in general is still able to win against his main team. But then when you come to KVK, kill event, most of the time free-to-play player and low spender, even medium spender, only really need one team, only really uses one team. You put a shield, you put a bubble, you go next to your rally leader, you send your main march into the rally, and or garrison that player to protect them. And that's how you're being useful as a low spender free to play. It's by utilizing that one very powerful march for the right aspect of the game, which is filling rallies and defending. But if you're spread out so thin into your four marches, what's going to happen is your main march is not going to be able to compete with other people's main march, even though they're free to play as well, and you're going to lose. Your march basically becomes a problem in the rally because you're taking a spot in the rally when your march is not even able to beat anyone, just because you spread out too thin. So be careful on investing in too many places at the same time. Make sure you have a very, very strong first team to start, and then you can start investing on other teams. Because if you look at my one team that is performing well, 8847, almost max. 40 dust on my Zenobia, decent artifact. This could be better, but fine for now. 40 dust. I don't even have the Quinn special artifact because I was not lucky yet. But again, the special artifact gives better stats, but the second part I don't need because I don't have any with Immortal in this March. But if you look at Charles, 40, and then 50 as well, and it's almost maxed, right? So overall, you're better off with one very strong team and then working on the other teams rather than spreading too thin and working on all four at the same time. It's going to get you better result in Arena, and more importantly, you're going to be able to compete and be useful in KVK. So this covers the 3 next mistakes. So for now, we have covered 5. I will come up with episode 3, which will cover a few other mistakes very soon. Again, thanks for watching. If you have any question, any feedback, any suggestion when it comes to topics to talk about, feel free to contact me. And again, thanks for watching.